good talk was brevity, so I'll try and keep this short and sweet. Also, I recently attended my son's commencement at Reed College in Portland, Oregon. And by the way, note to parents, if you think the bills at UC are high, you should see the bills from Reed College in Portland, Oregon. Actually, the University of California is a pretty good deal. The speaker at my son's commencement pointed out that no one ever remembers what the commencement speaker says. When Dean Cullenberg asked me to give this talk, I tried to remember what the Reed College speaker said, thinking that maybe I would benefit from some of her ideas. But the only thing I could remember about her entire speech was her claim that no one ever remembers what the commencement speaker said. I'm not sure if this proves her right or wrong. Maybe a little of both. If we have done our job right here at UC Riverside, the graduating class of 2013 will be set up for failure. Yep, let me say it again. You will be set up for failure. I'm going to try and explain what I'm talking about. In my 8 years as director of the University Honors Program here at UCR, I heard many faculty presentations of their research. The one theme that came out most clearly in just about all of them was that the researchers started out with some goal or result in mind, and they did not accomplish that goal or establish that result. They did not. But in the process, they discovered something else, something even more interesting and important. They thought they were headed in one direction, but at a crucial point, they pivoted, and the pivot paid off. It's the same in all of the sciences, the social sciences, and the arts and humanities. Often we think we are going to prove a certain theorem or establish a certain conclusion, but we fail. And yet, if we are alert and open to evidence that points in other, more productive directions, we can make a great success of our initial failure. This phenomenon of discovering the unexpected is called serendipity. The word comes from Serendip, the old name for the island of Ceylon, now Sri Lanka. Horace Walpole, Earl of Oxford, coined the word in a letter in 1754, saying he derived it from a children's tale, The Three Princes of Serendip, in which, quote, as their highnesses traveled, they were always making discoveries by accident or sagacity of things they were not in quest of.
We have more seating down there for you guys.
Now, science is full of examples of
Go down to them and
serendipity.
make a right.
Perhaps the most famous example is the discovery of penicillin in 1928 by the Scottish scientist Alexander Fleming. Fleming won the Nobel Prize for this discovery. Here's what happened. Returning from a vacation, Fleming noticed that a Petri dish containing Staphylococcus bacteria culture he'd mistakenly left open had been contaminated by a mold, penicillin, which was now killing the bacteria. By a lucky accident then, Fleming initiated the era of antibiotic medicine. Another example of serendipity in medicine is the discovery in 1950 of an early class of antidepressant medications, the so-called tricyclic antidepressants. Scientists were doing experiments with these drugs to see if they would help people with schizophrenia. Unfortunately, the drugs did not reduce the symptoms associated with schizophrenia, but the scientists were alert enough to notice that the people treated with the drugs were overall less unhappy. The drugs were then marketed in the 60s and 70s as antidepressant medications, precursors to drugs like Prozac. This discovery took someone who was open to possibilities other than what were initially envisaged for these drugs. Someone noticed something surprising and interesting and different from what was within the scope of the initial inquiry. Someone was alert to new possibilities, and someone pivoted, and that pivot paid off tremendously. Someone took failure and made it into success. Now, of course, serendipity is not just in the realm of academics. Our lives are full of serendipity. Our love lives, our friendships, our careers, our hobbies, every aspect of our lives. For example, have you ever thought that someone would be the love of your life, only to be disappointed, and then realize that her roommate or her best friend, or his roommate or his best friend, really is the one who clicks with you? And we all know that when Christopher Columbus set out in 1492, he was looking for a new passage to India. So the discovery of America itself was serendipitous, at least for the Europeans, if not the Native Americans. Let me go back.